Good afternoon, everyone. We're here at the Animal Care Services Advisory Committee meeting, and we're here at the Public Works Department, 5512 Thomas Avenue, conference room. And I'd like to call this meeting to order, and it's about 12:44. And I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and right now we'll just turn this to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Could we have roll call, please?
Honorable Albert Davis Jr., Dr. Sandra Langecker, absent. Robert Trevino, absent. Cynthia Collazo,
Present.
Laura Yanes,
Present.
Lillian Wong,
Present.
Cindy E. Cantu,
Present.
Robert De Luna, absent. Lilian Trevino, absent. Maria Antonieta Garcia,
Present.
Robert A. Simpson,
Here.
Karina Elizondo,
Present.
Maribel Garcia, present.
Thank you.
A board member includes a member of a nonprofit. Is that Maribel?
No, actually it was Michelle Velez. She recently resigned, so council will they will probably come with a
Okay, so we
recommendation.
have a vacancy.
Yes.
I didn't know.
I didn't know she was there.
Yes, I think she is in a
She'll be
different.
moving to Mexico.
Oh, she's relocating.
She's not back yet, like that she was.
She is out there, but it'll take her about a year.
All right, thank you. Do we have any citizens' comments? No, I don't think we have any. Okay. We'd like to welcome our new members. And, Eileen, you want to give us just, I know we kind of did that last time a little bit, but we didn't have a quorum, but I think Laura wasn't here last time, so maybe just really, Bob, if you could, just give us a little bit of information, brief on yourself.
I'm so glad to join this committee, and I will try to do the best I can do for our community.
Thank you. Thank you for being part of our committee. And I think Ms. Garcia, Maria Antonieta Garcia.
Hi, my name is Maria Antonieta Garcia. You can call me Tony for short. I'm a retired educator. I taught for 34 years. And during my last year's teaching, I became involved in the animal fostering and then later rescuing. So I love what I do now, even though I'm supposed to be retired, not really, because rescue is a 24/7 volunteer job. But I love it. So I hope to be a positive member with collaborating and bringing up good ideas to the table.
Thank you, and welcome. I know that you're not new, Bob, but I guess for the benefit of our new members, if you just.
Sure.
tell us a little bit about
Robert
yourself.
Simpson Del Valle. You can all call me Bob, Robert, whatever. I was on the board previously, and my council member was not reelected, but a different council member appointed me. Thank you so much, Karina, for helping that happen. I certainly care about animal care services, and I care about the animals. And I don't care very much for social media that just spits out something without things verified. And I'll do my best here.
Thank you, Bob, and welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll go ahead and move on to the discussion and possible action on the trap neuter return program and all matters related thereto.
Okay, so I presented you all with a copy of the minutes when we first addressed TNR, well, not first, but the last time TNR was addressed at the Laredo Animal Care Services Department. It was back in January the 23rd, 2020. The ordinance gave birth to TNR back in 2018. It specifically directed the director to create a model so that community can adopt that model. And it also called for the citizens to fund their own TNR. So at this time, I placed it back on the agenda because it has not been done. And I know Councilmember Perez requested for us to, she requested me to create the TNR model, but I strongly believe that it's in the best interest of the department to have that collaboration of our advisory committee, since you all serve in an advisory capacity. And I know we have subject matter experts in this committee. I spoke to Councilmember Perez, and she was very happy that the committee was going to be included. And as you all know, there's other council members who are interested in our city moving this program forward because it is a necessity. And in the meantime, since I got appointed, I established the SNR for the first time in our shelter. And the SNR is the snap, neuter, and return. The TNR is trap, neuter, and release. So we are actually conducting the spay and neuter and tipping the ear of the cat in our facilities. So we have wildcats. We try to promote them to this program. Since we started, we already did 30 cats, and we have pictures of them here. So we started this incentive, but without being said, I really want for the committee to work on the TNR program to help me, so I can present to council a model and it could be adopted. And for the first time, actually have something physical, not just on paper.
Okay.
So, and I just wanted to provide you a copy of the notes, and I'll recommend and suggest for us to have a subcommittee like we did last time. I don't know what happened, but I know it fell through the cracks or it was not. So I really don't know. And I'm not gonna entertain
Let's
something I
move
don't
forward,
remember.
yes.
So I want to just move forward, and if you all want to appoint anybody or
Maybe we can start with asking for volunteers, if somebody wants to volunteer. And
I'd like to comment about that. Having been part of that, it's not until you actually experience a colony that you understand what really happens. My colony was 13, I had up to 23 because it kept growing. And I absorbed that expense, and we're talking about thousands of dollars. And only to experience, and I'm sorry to be negative, but only to experience, at least in my area, the cats getting lost, the cats getting hit by cars because you release them.
Yeah.
And the cats getting attacked by a dog, picking them up, luckily escapes, and I incur another $500 expense because I trap the cat and take it to get taken care of, and it's in my hospital room, but it's a wild cat. So I manage those things, and it's sometimes scary because if you get bitten, you end up in the ER, which I have. So you really have to know what you're doing with a TNR, and it really does require quite a bit of money. Prior to my having that colony, so that kind of discouraged me because I get very attached, even though I feed them, like I manage the colony. I love the SNR because you are attempting to reduce those numbers out there on the street, and you release them. And they're on their own, they figure out the food, they know how to survive. They're the best hunters above lions, etc. The cats are.
we release them to where we found them,
Yes.
to their natural habitat.
Correct. And that's excellent. I think that is probably the most wonderful solution. The reality is that the public, save the cats, and have no clue what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So, that being said, just yesterday I took one, and she had been getting chased by the male cat, so I knew she was probably pregnant. She was pregnant. So I took her, and that cost me nearly $500. And so it digs deep into your personal pocket. But I do it because I want that experience. And by the way, I've been doing rescue for 18 years. I'm retired, supposedly.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah,
We're
it
the
just
same boat.
doesn't happen. But really, the SNR was like the most awesome idea ever. Prior to that, I had gone to a home where there was a cat that was posted on social media. One of the good things about social media. So I went looking, and I discovered 2 cruelty cases and a colony of about 16 cats. So I called the shelter at the time, I think it was Omero or Homer. And so they went out there. I took my carriers, but they helped me to trap them. That collaboration really is nice. But one cat was dying. She had a dead kitten in her body. And so I took them straight to Dr. Leindecker and took care of what needed to be taken care of. And a lot of them she took in and posted for adoption. And at one point, we collaborated with a cat rescue transporter, but they get so passionate, and so it creates a little bit of drama, which you really need to do without, try to do without.
Yeah.
And that was very successful, but I took back a few of the ones that were taken care of free of charge by Dr. Leindecker. She just wanted the TNR to get going. And so I took them back to the location, and she remained with 3. And the rest were the kittens, because there were kittens were put up for adoption. So that's an experience with it. I mean, if anybody wants to take it on, I will help you. I will help you. But to try and, I love the SNR because I get it.
But I think we need to have both, because the shelter as a government municipality needs to, as a municipality, we need to also do our job, right? And that's how we are tackling the overpopulation problem. But we also need to be able to offer a TNR for our community. You know, so what I discussed with Councilmember Perez was like, okay, before we go into funding, let's create a program that's actually gonna work in our community, because I did some research, and realistically we need to choose and develop something that's gonna work for us. Because if we try, and obviously we need to see what other cities are doing. I did some research, but for example, San Antonio, they charge $10 for the TNR. That's nothing. Here in our community, we only have 5 veterinarian clinics. So that's also another thing that we need to talk about whenever we create the subcommittee. Are we going to reach out to them and ask them to commit to a certain fee schedule, or are we going to actually go before council and request funds? Or I know in the past they had addressed the 501c3 venue. So there's different things that we can discuss, but we first need to talk, okay, realistically, what is it that we need to do and how we're going to do it? And then we go to the next phase, which is funding. How are we gonna fund this program? How are we gonna make it easy for the community to be able to pay for the sterilization of community cats? I mean, we already have an overpopulation concern. Laredo has Laredo is a very poor city. And statistically, there's a lot of individuals living below the poverty line. So sometimes they might not even have money to sterilize their own pets, much less community cats.
I saw on TV, I don't know if it was a group of people or an organization, and they were doing it on their own. Did any of you see that? I mean,
Here?
yeah. You saw that? I saw it at KGNS a couple weeks ago.
I think probably, I know that Laura Valdez Garcia, she has moved around, joined different groups, and she did a lot of fundraising. And when I was helping with the city to transport cats to a foster, then I had the situation come up. Well, guess what? One of them is ill. But so I coordinated with, at that time, Dr. Rodriguez, who was doing visits at home, and then I talked to Laura, who financed it. First I paid it, she reimbursed me, but the rescue organization from out of town was not gonna cover any of the costs. So it takes a lot of coordination, but I know Sandra Solis has done a lot of work, and she's Best Friends for Life.
Friends for Life.
She used to be on this advisory board. She has a lot of experience with it. Her belief, however, because of a study done in Austin, is that if they're FIV positive or feline leukemia positive, that they should be left to survive and released at a barn cats, working cats. So that's a philosophy, but they're the ones that are doing some of that. Unless it was another group, I would like to.
That was Best Friends for Life?
Yes,
Yeah, they're the cat group.
yes.
They have their little shelter. Is it the one across from TKO what's the name of the street?
They're the ones that are with
That's
labs.
in Lux.
They're
Labs.
Labs.
A very big cat house.
Cat
I think-
house,
Did
yeah.
you attend? We attended and we saw it, so it's
Okay.
really, it's always full.
Yes.
Yeah.
That might be
They're at
someone
full
to recommend
capacity.
to council for the
Yes.
vacancy.
That's another thing. So once we, oh yes, I'll bring it up to council to ask.
I
her.
would say for us to check with Sandra first to see if she would even be interested.
Of course.
Yes.
Because she was here, see if
Yes.
she can take something on.
Yes, absolutely. So going back to the TNR subcommittee, was that something that
I can definitely volunteer.
Okay.
I'm not much of a cat person. I have 4 dogs, but I can definitely put in work and I can help. But we need somebody that would know what they're doing. Like maybe if Sandra was available to help out, we could definitely help her out. And we have other people from the community that actually want to help out that are already doing TNR on
Yes.
their own.
Yes.
So they know what they're doing and
Yeah.
they can join the
How
subcommittee
can we
to help
reach
us.
out to those people? Those are the people that we should be, collaborating with because they already have the interest. They're already putting in the time. They already have the knowledge how to do it.
Well, we can if we know people, I can talk to the people that I know, take notes, and see if maybe they'd be available for next time we meet, that they
would
could be
good.
present and give us a
Yeah.
presentation on what they think and what it is that we can do.
I'll ask around also to find out if any of my rescue friends know or are willing to do some of the cat work.
Because
You
it's
know
about
some-
having a trap.
Yeah,
installing
también,
it,
I don't
picking
know,
it up.
how many of you know Eleodoro Lozano?
I don't.
He's our cat guy in Laredo. His home is it's like a cat cage. He surrounded his home with a huge fence that goes inward because he has cats outside and he has cats inside, but the cats outside can leave because they cannot jump out. So, and he was once interviewed because of the way he has his home. He's a neighbor of mine. We collaborate sometimes, so I'll talk to him and ask him if he would be interested in helping out.
Yes. We want you
He
in
used to
this.
work with Gateway Gatos,
Eleodoro what?
Eleodoro Lozano.
Lozano.
Birdie Lopez.
Yeah.
She prays for the animals.
Yes.
Who? Yeah.
Birdie.
Yeah.
She does the prayer visuals.
Yeah. He used to be part of her group, but then he left and he continues to rescue cats. And sometimes he'll ask me for help, sometimes I'll ask him for help, but he's a definite cat guy.
Because we need to know, Karina, if we know of a cat and we have a trap ourselves and we're able to trap this cat, where are we taking this cat? Are we bringing it here? Is it going to be fixed here? Then we're picking it up when we release it ourselves as volunteers? How does it work?
The ordinance doesn't talk about that. That's why we need to create the TNR model so we can present it to the community and put it on paper. Because the TNR just makes, it acknowledges certain definitions and funding and things like that, but we need to create those things.
I think you made efforts and some very good efforts. You remember the outreach to all the veterinarians and
Yes.
who was receptive and who wasn't? Do you remember that?
That was for the sterilization clinic that we're going to host, and they were all pretty receptive. But for something else, I haven't actually talked to them about TNR. This was the city had allocated certain funds for sterilization clinics for the community, and the former administration wanted to include all of the vets, and we're going to divide that funding as per veterinarian, depending on the number of, because everybody has a different choice of vet.
And that's something that we could look into as to how much they would charge, or would it be more cost efficient for us to actually bring somebody from out of town that comes and has their little
For TNR.
clinic yeah.
And I'm a outside of the box thinker.
Yeah.
Sterilization, TNR, SNR, the dogs that get picked up. It's the same thing. You just work them in there. It's just a matter of, it's
I'd be
real
happy to be
simple.
on the subcommittee too.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd be lying if I
We
said
all
I
wanna
knew
know.
much about
You know
it.
what I mean?
I can certainly research and pull some other communities' TNR programs and take
Yes.
a look. But I would
Karina?
like someone that's done it,
And what Dr. Leindecker's currently doing is she still under contract with us?
Yes.
With the, okay,
Yes.
and
She's the one that's operating or sterilizing our SNR cats.
Okay.
Our SNR cats. But like I said, it's even though it's like Ms. Yanis explained, como it sounds like the same thing, but it's not. One
It's
is for
different.
shelter pets, and the other one is for community kids.
So they don't want to deal, so the conversation, let's say they're not feral cats, but stray cats that maybe got lost, because that happens. I have one that's got a collar and it's limping, that's out there. And, I mean, for me, it would be so much nicer to be able to trap it and take it somewhere that it's covered under the SNR, of course, because it's just very expensive. And of course, that lady, the group of cats I rescued, or that we coordinated, took to Dr. Linder. She ate up the cost. I did the work, we did the work together, but she ate the costs.
Okay, well, first we need to develop a plan, okay? Whether it's your recommendation to bring them to the shelter or to take them to the veterinarian, whatever that case, that we need to discuss all of those options, and I
Okay.
think it will be, because we need to start talking about this.
On the
And I
model.
know last time Ms. Yanis was gonna give a presentation to the committee on the TNR, right? But that was like a year ago.
It's been like over a year ago, and what happened was I was being policy to death. And I was like, you know what, that's okay, never mind. You know, it's discouraging.
Well,
So-
now it's a different administration, and
Yes.
and this is something that needs to be done because it is our obligation, and it's our
And I still have that
responsibility.
presentation, but, I mean, I can look for it, I think you've got it, but I think
Yes.
at this point, since you did SNR, I mean, I just can't tell you how wonderful that is. Because when you work alone for such a long time, or you feel like you are, it's hard, and everybody's out there, the Janie Costas of the world, the Laura Valdez's, the Sandra Solis's, you know, that are out there, and you guys do mostly dogs, but you have cats that you can't get anywhere,
Yeah.
nobody wants them.
I can reach out to Sandra to see if she'd be, you know,
Receptive.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
if she's got time to come back on the board or help us with this program, and that we are volunteering and that we can be here to support, but we need guidance, so we really do need somebody that knows what they're talking about and all that good stuff to help Laura and everybody that's involved in that to see what we need to do.
Because we're gonna need a chair and a co-chair for the subcommittee,
Okay.
and then this subcommittee will report to that committee,
Okay?
and then with any recommendations or suggestions.
If you will recall, the issue at that time was that Sandra wanted not to, Dr. Linedecker said FIV, feline leukemia,
Yes, I remember.
right? And that was the,
Yeah.
right, that's where we kind of got stuck.
And again, like we're under another administration, so we're doing things differently. There's a lot of reasons why Sandra left, and I feel that things have changed, and we might be able to get her to come back to make a difference.
Yeah, I think we need somebody like that has that experience, because, I mean, I have dogs too, you know,
Yes.
but I have a lot of cats
And
that are
that
in the
cares
area.
and has that passion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I've been
definitely.
meeting with American Pets Alive, but with the feline lifesaver expertise. So I'm doing my part too, but as a director. But I want the collaboration of the
Yes.
community. So
You mean
I will
Austin
certainly.
Pets Alive or?
American. See Austin. Well, it was through Claire, and her name is Monica. The one that I'm
In
talking
Austin or?
to. Yes, she's in Austin.
Yeah, she's the pro, let them live, put them in the barn, just so you're aware. And Linedecker is anti that, and I'm also anti. And once they already get to a certain point, they're just dying.
Well, the
So-
problem is it's communicable.
It varies.
That's a huge problem. If we had lots of barns in Laredo
Right.
and people to take them, but it's all
And
in
that's why
crowded
it's
areas.
recommendations, suggestions, and then we can vote on it and see what we can do
I'm meeting with
to move
them
forward.
for the first time.
Yeah, so we don't reinvent the wheel.
Right,
Yeah.
I agree.
And I'll let Leo know.
Yes,
Yeah,
let
I
Leo know. I'm
remember
gonna
Leo.
call Luz, and I'm gonna call Sandra.
I'll call Leo.
Luz
to
is
see-
collaborating with
that's right,
Sandra
Luz.
in those things, and I just met with her about a day or two ago, so I can, I'll think of who else, I'll put them on my list, and we'll start making some calls. they're gonna be excited to know that we're working on a subcommittee. I know they'll wanna volunteer.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now we have Cindy and Bob, and then will you all let me know?
Laura said she would volunteer as well, right, Laura? Volunteer,
Yeah.
like not chair or anything. I know that's a
Who
lot.
will be the chair?
We'll discuss, like if
Because
Sandra were
we
to
only-
come back, we might be able to get her to be chair.
Well, I don't know how will how is that gonna work since doesn't have to she's not part of the board. She can volunteer with you guys within the subcommittee, but I have to so we can communicate, because we do have a business relationship as committee members and as the department. So I don't know if that's something that I'll recommend for the
But
chair.
if she were to come back to the advisory board, which is what you guys just discussed a little bit ago.
Oh, we
For
do.
nonprofit?
Okay, then that's a different story. Yes.
So we can see who would want to be chair and co-chair.
Okay. Sorry, I misunderstood.
No, and me too, so no, definitely.
And that open slot possible.
Yeah.
That, we have a vacancy, so maybe she would want to take over. Is that something that
Oh,
she
Maria,
would be
which-
able to do?
Michelle.
See, so, yes.
Or no?
I mean, yes, that's a recommendation that needs to come through council, but, I mean,
I think it's a good idea.
It can happen kind of quick, right?
Yes,
That
and
if- that if Cindy
If
talks
she were
them,
to
yeah.
be willing, I think like she's perfect. Like she knows what we would need to do on this project that you're trying to create and everything. So yeah, I'll call her right away.
Okay.
If she's willing, I'm sure all of us would be happy to
To
text our council
volunteer,
member,
yeah.
know and say, please, we do recommend
This is what
this
we need to
person
do,
in that
right.
way.
Yeah,
And what Karina's trying to achieve is just to make sure that we're in compliance to,
definitely.
Sure,
have
sure.
part of the committee so that
Yeah.
structurally wise, we're good.
and honestly, it's also very exciting because we get to do things for the first time, and
Yeah.
we are creating history. And like I told people in our task force meeting, and I love to make reference to this quote. It's if it's not us, who, and if it's not now, when. So if we don't be the leaders that our community needs for us to be, then who? You guys have been appointed to serve in this committee. I have been appointed as the director, and I want us to work together so we can materialize this program once and for all. Once and for all.
Cuenta con nosotros.
Thank you.
Definitely, Karina. Whatever you need.
Thank
We'll
you.
make it move. I know, last time we kind of, and then of course the pandemic and everything else.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, anything else on that?
So no action, right?
No action,
Not
but
yet.
we're,
No action.
yeah, we're working on it.
But definitely homework.
Yeah, we do have some volunteers
Definitely, bring
already.
something to the table.
Okay, so we'll put it back in for the next.
Yes.
Yes.
We can continue the discussion. Okay, moving on to staff reports, and we have, the first one is just general overview and responsibilities of board members. And I had asked Karina to put this together just for the benefit of our new members, so that everyone would be aware. If you have questions, we would address them as well.
Okay, this is a very different committee. It's a very different committee because you guys are in an advisory capacity. So you guys' main responsibility is to advise council on certain things. So we need to take advantage of this power that you all have in order for us to review ordinances that need to be updated and things like that. So I wanted to just touch bases on that, just to remind you all that it is an advisory committee, and that's one of the main duties and responsibilities that you all have. Also, one of the things that I wanted to address, because now we have new people, it was noted in the past that we were to meet every third Thursday of each month. So since we have been going back and forth since our last meeting, I just wanted to confirm with you all if you all want this to continue.
And then one of our last meetings, it was every other month
Yeah,
Yes.
I remember
that
that.
got voted on.
That's why I
So are
wanted
we
to
back-
bring it up.
Yes, do we take it back to 2 months?
And I guess I'd like to ask Karina, what do you feel we need? I mean, I don't mind meeting monthly, and can we stretch it, or do we need to? Or do we plan it every month, and unless there's nothing pending, then we can move it? I mean, you tell us.
I
what is
honestly
it?
think that we have been inactive for so
Yes,
long that I
yes.
think
We
that we
need to,
should go back
yes.
to our month-to-month
I agree.
meetings. And
Yeah.
honestly, next agenda, I'm gonna literally put ordinances. I wanna create subcommittees as well, like policy and ordinance review, finance committee, like different committees, so we can get, there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of things that we need to start, or that we need to amend, and that we need to finance. So I want for the committee to be more active, and I know you guys have been very passionate about your roles, and I want to utilize your expertise so we can make those changes. Like I know with Cindy, for example, we had discussed litter permits. I mean, if we're going to enforce sterilizing campaigns,
We need to increase those permits. If not, we're not getting to the root of the problem.
yes, so
So we need to increase those permits. Since we can't do away with them for a while, then let's increase them.
I will send I'll ask Maribel to send you an email with already the subcommittees.
Okay.
And then you guys can choose, and then on the next meeting, we won't have to waste time trying to decide who's interested in what, so
Okay,
we'll make.
perfect.
We'll send you an email, and then you all confirm, and then we confirm it, in our agenda.
Excellent.
Ms. Collazo, do we need to make the motion because of that last
Yes,
motion?
I was gonna say, because I'm just gonna ask the same question, but yes, I think we should, Nada, maybe you wanna lead and
I'm-
just kind of amending or
Yes.
rescinding that previous motion.
Right, I move that we amend the previous motion that's on the record that we meet monthly.
Okay, second.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Motion passes. So let's meet monthly then.
Okay.
And you'll just remind us, so that we can make sure that, you know, it's the third Thursday of the month.
We're gonna go back to the same thing, which I told you all that day before, so, cause I know,
Yes.
I mean, even this month, it's already behind schedule, right? So it will be August, the,
26,
Does everybody have WhatsApp?
every last Thursday.
I do.
No.
it was every last Thursday, right?
Is it
Yes.
easier just like
Or third.
regular messenger?
You said third.
Because I want to do a little
The 19th.
chat.
The 19th.
And I have the information now with all the phone numbers we have, so I can go ahead and add it. Okay.
You
Eh?
want,
And we'll
you
do
want
it
the
that way.
fourth, Thursday, it would be the 26th. If you want it to be, on the third,
So the last weekend, I mean, the last week,
Thursday.
The last Thursday.
the
of the
last
month.
Thursday of each month.
Like
And
Thanksgiving.
usually we-
Thanksgiving.
Good,
Oh,
that,
yeah.
wasn't it the third every
No, we
Thursday?
modify it, so like,
Yeah,
in
we-
October,
yeah.
we'll change
We
it
move,
accordingly.
we can move it around if, you know, we have holidays or,
so you want to do the fourth, and then when there's a holiday, we can do the third, or vice versa?
Sounds good.
So it's August 26th?
Because we had said every third
Yes.
week of the month, hadn't we?
I think so, that was the original.
That was the original plan, the third week
Third week.
of each month. That's how I have it set up in my calendar, which would be the 19th.
Okay, is everyone okay with the third week, or? I
So
thought you were proposing the fourth week, Tony.
Yeah, you already proposed the last Thursday already.
Okay, yeah, the last
Like
Thursday.
I already have like, I'm gonna be out on the 26th. Because we had set the third week, so I have this meeting for the 19th.
I mean, we can do this effective like next month, or, I mean, 2 months from now, como ustedes quieran,
Well,
however you all want.
I
we could
think
just
that
set
in
up that the
order,
next meeting is August 19th, and then August 19th, we set the
we
next
set the
meeting.
next one and the next one.
You know, so,
A month
because we
in
want
advance.
maximum participation, and
Yeah.
the TNR is
Right.
gonna be discussed next time. Cindy needs to
Yes,
be
it's
here.
Yeah, she needs to be here, so. Yeah,
Okay,
let's-
next meeting, August 19th.
Yes, August 19th.
Okay.
And every meeting, we'll.
After
we'll
that,
just put
we'll-
Maribel, if we can have an item, just say,
I know you
setting
want-
of the next month's meeting.
Okay, I won't be here, but I know you want to
I think
be
it would
in
make sense
the,
to, like,
the
at every
committee,
meeting,
so.
finance?
set up
So
the
I
hour
will
for the
be in
next
the
meeting.
fundraising committee, okay?
Because you
Okay.
never know, people
So you won't be
sometimes
available on the
unexpected
19th?
things
No, she
happen.
But,
26, I already want to come, but then we're going to do 19, so I think.
Yeah, 19.
I mean, you can connect from Zoom.
You can't come
Who?
in the,
I can't come on 19th?
No.
We could do
But I-
25th, 24th,
yeah,
are you?
or-
Or we can do it on Friday or however you all want. But, and also I just wanted to remind the board that since it's not a discussion and possible action, we cannot take any action on an item unless it has that actual language. But on this time, I was gonna allow it just because we need clarification as to when we're going to meet. And I know as per the minutes from like a year and a half ago, they were stipulated that it was gonna be a week.
So is it, are
Thursday.
we available the 20th or the 25th?
Okay, I'll answer the question. Yes, my preference is 25th. Fridays are a little difficult for me, but
I'm available also Wednesday.
I'll make it happen.
Laura?
25th works for me.
For me
Okay.
too.
Would it work for you?
25th?
Yeah?
Yes.
Let's do
Okay.
25th?
25th?
Are we good? Let's do
Uh,
25th?
Yeah. Any
Carmina,
day is
under
good for me.
6B, organizational update, we couldn't squeeze in that as part of updating our organization, that we set the next meeting?
Yes. Okay,
You
so.
talked about,
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes, and I would also say under the general overview and responsibilities of the board, I mean, that's
when our meetings are.
when, yeah, we're
This is a
responsible,
thing,
so.
I put it up as a staff report as opposed to an
Okay.
item. But I will bring it next time too, so we can actually
Yeah.
formally take an action if the language is gonna change.
Okay, so August 25th?
August
25th.
Yeah,
August 25, 12:30.
yeah,
12:30?
we want maximum participation. It's
And
difficult enough to get. a quorum.
Is it gonna be here all the time?
I don't know.
This is the reason why we're doing it here. It's because our conference room, as y'all remember, it's really small, and I know there have been several concerns from members that they wanted to keep the social distancing or the mask. So just for us, a precautionary measure. Now, I mean, this is huge. Ours is
Yeah, the fact that we can skip
They're
one
very
is
limited,
good.
Yes.
You know, they don't have that much room. They made it too small for him, they should have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't, it
It
did
was,
make it too
but
small.
again, it goes
We're
back
grown.
to whatever at the moment.
So then here for the 25th again.
I'll ask Orvila if it's available.
Okay.
Karina, and you'll put an item always from now on the agenda, just setting up the next meeting date.
Okay.
Okay, and that's like a standing item, and that way, just so that, because everybody gets busy as well and
I do want to ask Maribel, poke us like a week in advance, and that way we can set our schedule. If 2 days sometimes isn't enough to, oh my God, I forgot or whatever. I know it's on us, but if you poke us a week in advance, that would
It
help.
helps us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it already. Okay, very good.
And then the next item is
Organizational update, you wanted to say, or you?
Or that was it.
for
Was
what?
it-
For the organizational update?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to give you a status. We had a job fair, June the 14th. We were able to hire most of our vacancies, so they're just going through the process. Giving
We're
their
not
2 week
fully
notice.
staffed yet, right?
We're not fully staffed yet, but I remain hopeful that probably by next week we'll have everyone on board.
How many vacancies do we have?
We had a 4 kennel worker position. We had 6 vacancies.
6? What's the starting salary on the lowest level of kennel workers?
Well, thank God, city manager's office was very generous. They increased the amount of pay to promote retention rates in our shelter. Given the fact that recently we had hired 2 kennel workers and they quit within the 2nd or 3rd day. So in order, as an incentive, we increased the salary. And if I'm not mistaken, it's $13.60, if I'm not mistaken.
Are those the vacancies right now?
Yes, and we have animal control vacancies. I was able to hire 2 ACOs and 2 remain vacant. And obviously, we still have our animal control supervisor vacancy and our shelter operations, the kennel worker supervisor.
So how many kennel worker openings do you have at the moment? 3?
They all been filled,
Oh, good.
but hopefully they all come on board by next week. We already received 3 new kennel workers, which we're very excited.
Karina, question, I know I read that the budget, you're gonna have the budget workshops
Yes.
next week. I don't know where it stands. Again, departments are being told no growth, but is there a possibility that you may get some additional staff? I mean, did you request it?
Yes, I
Got preliminary
requested,
approval?
yes,
Yes.
we requested veterinarian technicians, kennel workers, and I requested a clerk too for the clinic. Because I need to update medications, treatments, como we're doing things already, but now I want them to be recorded, to be entered so we can keep track of all the animals that have been getting medications and all that stuff. And currently one of our clerks tools right now have taken that additional duty, which is data entry. And it's already very busy for them to inherit another responsibility.
Yeah.
So I will present the budget. I don't know that date yet, but I'll let you all know so you all can support at the city council meeting.
Yeah, just let us know, and I can always text some of the council members too to
Yes.
kind of support, and I would ask you all to do the same, those council members that have appointed you, especially those that have appointed you,
And actually,
appointed us, so that we can support, and I know because the list is tremendous, everybody has needs and wants, and, don't forget our vets, our shelter.
Yes. Well, actually, just so you all know, one of the projects that I'm working on in the shelter right now, it's the pressure washer system. Because currently we're using hoses, and I mean, the pressure is not the same.
Yeah, I
So
see it.
that's one of the projects that I'm working on, and we have the money because of, like they said in Spanish, de algo malo siempre pasa algo bueno, and obviously we were understaffed for quite some time, so that gave us some salary savings, and we were able to secure $189,000 for salary savings. So yeah, that's why we are all overworked. And that's why a lot of people left, because they were tired, but now we were able to address that concern. Now we're gonna be fully staffed, and this project is gonna be funded with that money. I'm also working on the animal cruelty kennel expansion and enclosure project. As you all know, we currently have only 5 animal cruelty kennels, and it's very challenging. Because of that reason, now our numbers are increasing, so now we're having to place animal cruelty cases with the general population, and sometimes the public doesn't know that they're animal cruelty cases, so they think that we mistreat them at the facility or whatever the case might be.
I have some of them.
Yes, so it's something that I've been working on even before. And just so you all know, this project started before. It's not a reactive approach, but I'm glad that now we're able to materialize them. So that's the animal cruelty kennel expansion. And also I know one of the big concerns is the R sections, the big kennels are at. I think it's so, that it's not right for us to have so many animals in one kennel, so I'm working on separating the R's so we can separate the animals. Because currently we're housing 10 to 12 dogs per kennel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard.
That's where you have the little ones, right?
And to keep those
Yes.
Kennels clean, it's impossible.
Yeah.
And also some of those animals are not picked up in the same location, they have their own alpha, so
Yes.
it's challenging.
Yeah, I've been there.
So
it's hard.
we're working on the R section kennel division project as well. And that those, some projects that we are already getting quotes and see how much is gonna charge us. What I'm proposing also is the new facility for intake for cats. We have the cat village, which is for animals that are already being vaccinated and they have already completed the observation period. So we're going to remove the trailer, the cat trailer that we currently have, because it doesn't meet our needs anymore, so now we need to go bigger and better. And we are going to increase, I'm requesting 100 cages for that building. I'm working with Orfila on this project. So we're going to, it's the new facility for feline intake and observation, and it's probably gonna be a replica of the cat village, but it's going to be solely for new cats.
New intakes.
Yes, and then I'm working on one of our proposals, it's also the clinic expansion and new surgical area. So we need to expand the clinic because a lot of people complain about the doctor, but we only have 2 beds and it takes like 15 to 17 minutes to prep one animal. Then,
Yeah.
and because I seen the doctor, she sterilizes the animals within 2 minutes if they're
Yeah, she
males.
is. She works
She's
really
very, very, very fast. So she hasn't had the staff and she doesn't have the room. So now I requested 2 veterinary technicians and I requested the expansion of the clinic. So that's something that we're working on. And we have the funds. I know
Oh, okay.
we have the funds available. We were able to secure money through the CARES.
Oh, yeah, the CARES Act.
The CARES, and then the city of Laredo got a bond, and we got a chunk of that.
Great job,
Oh,
Karina.
that's great.
That's wonderful.
And we
got a
also
huge
have,
need here in Laredo.
yes,
Huge.
we actually have like almost $500,000 that we're going to be allocating for
Oh,
this.
that's wonderful. I was just gonna say, maybe we need to get that with the fundraising committee. But you got the funds, that's
I know.
That's
Yeah.
great.
No, we don't need you. You
don't need me.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
She
We
just-
need to keep up so
Yes,
we can
there's so much.
continue doing, because there's so much to do.
So much.
Yes,
yeah.
and I mean, this is just like adding to our
Yes.
existing.
Yeah.
Are you all
So-
taking volunteers already?
Yes.
Like if we have people that want to come and bathe the puppies, or they want to clean kennels, or they
Yes.
want to clean the cages, or move stuff around for you?
We
We're taking
were-
volunteers.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
We are taking volunteers now. Because of our need of volunteers, we actually opened the shelter on the weekends just for volunteers.
Good.
And so we're accepting volunteers. I know Antonieta is there like every weekend. and we're very thankful for that. And there's a lot of help. There's a lot of help
Well, I got to experience cleaning the cat mobile home and in the dog areas. And I am very, very glad that they're getting rid of that mobile home.
Yes.
I mean, it's too tight, it's too
Yeah.
small.
And the
and
cages up.
The cages piled up doesn't work.
Doesn't work. You get one that's sick, starts
And-
throwing up or
yeah.
something, it goes
Mhm.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already served its purpose. 'Cause they
Good.
were gonna throw it away before.
Yes, yeah,
So we
that's
kept
right.
it to get the cats
From the
in
health
there.
department.
But now, that's fantastic.
Yes, and we're very, very happy. And this is a project that I've been working with Orfila and Dr. Leyendecker for a couple of months. So now that we
Amazing.
have the funds, we're gonna
Let's do
get
it.
started.
Good.
And then,
We're still on D, right? The Animal Cruelty Task Force?
no, we're
No.
in the,
We're in the staff reports, we were talking about the organizational update.
yes, I'm sorry, I got excited when Ms.
The
Collazo mentioned
budget,
the budget.
yeah, I just wanted to, we were talking about vacancies and to make sure that we have funding.
Okay.
Yes.
We were asking, getting positions.
Yes.
Karina, just a
Sorry.
quick question, on the pressure washer, is it already been ordered?
No,
Or
I'm
they're
getting
about
quotes,
to-
and
you're getting
actually,
quotes.
I'm meeting with the engineers on Friday. I got a preliminary quote just so I can secure the funds. So just so y'all know, it's gonna happen before the end of the fiscal year, which I'm very happy to announce.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So we're getting with the engineers on Friday at 1:45, and then we'll take it from there. And the funds are available, but we are gonna have to go through the bid process. But all
Yeah.
of my colleagues are extremely supportive. The purchasing agent I'm beyond grateful with all my coworkers.
Wonderful.
Todos nos están ayudando bastante, not only to me, but to our department. They're expediting everything, they're helping us as much as we can.
That's good.
including Orfila.
Just, I don't know if it's possible, but try to put it on the Facebook page of the shelter. Like live videos with you, and you showing off what you're accomplishing. Because it's important for people to see your face and her face and everybody's face walking around the shelter. Look what we accomplished, or this is in the making,
Right.
and this is in the planning. And letting the community, because sad to say, but social media now rules a lot of people's lives. And right? And so, I think it's very important that you keep the people aware of what you're planning.
We have done
and
so much.
what, yes, but people don't know because they're not
They
seeing
don't have the
it.
staff to be working on that. It's
Yeah.
Well,
important,
I'm
but
very happy
yes.
to announce
Mhm.
that with the support of my superiors, we were able to secure a clerk tool for the shelter that's solely gonna take care
Of the- of the-
social media and pictures to promote all the animals.
wonderful.
He's gonna be
Everybody
able
that's
to-
the
That,
assets and everybody
you know,
that's
and that
That's
was
nice.
something that had been requested years and years and years ago, because I remember talking to previous personnel administrations before. Like, you need to have a person solely in charge of the pictures, the information, the videos, and it never happened. It was always an added responsibility to someone that was already there, or a volunteer
Right.
going in and taking the videos, taking the pictures.
Yeah.
But it's important, and I'm glad that you are able to get a person just to take care of that.
Good.
Because in itself, it's a job. Those of you that work on computers know that updating,
Yes.
it's important.
It's gonna
and-
increase our libraries rate dramatically and return to owners. That's the idea.
return to owners also
Yeah.
very important. They should
So
come
we're
in
gonna
and
be
get
more
out, come in and
active,
get out.
because now we're gonna have a person that's gonna devote 48 hours a day, 40 hours a week, just to promote our shelter pets.
Yes,
And that makes me
good.
very happy because
Yes.
we need that. And,
Mhm.
and I have, management has been very supportive. My boss, she's even a vegan too, so we are all aligned.
Good.
And we're all working together to move the shelter forward. And these are things that for other departments might be minor, but for us, having a clerk too that's just going to devote themselves to that, it's a huge accomplishment.
Yes, yes, it is.
That's good.
So,
Yeah, so hope to see more of you and in the shelter
And your
on your
projects and
page. Yeah, the
everything.
projects as they are coming along.
yeah, I'm
you know.
scared, yeah. It's like,
No, and I think it's, I mean, they're correct, I mean, and I think as people see the positive.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
and the changes, I mean, you're still gonna have criticism, everybody criticizes everything,
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
But at least make them aware, because I also see funding opportunities out of that.
Yes.
If people
oh, we
see
got a
that.
lot of
You
donations.
see, that's like,
Like financial
a little
donations.
help here, a little help there, providing goods,
There's good people out there.
Yes, there's a lot of people that.
And there's a lot of people that want to help and they
Yes.
want to
I
be
want to
part of
secure
it.
those donations, financial donations, just for sterilization. So,
Yes.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we're working, and I was getting, oh my God,
It's
they need to
hard.
let me work. Come on, everybody's doing their part. And this is a government organization, and yeah, it takes time, but we need to be very proactive because we work with animals, so. There's a lot of things that we would want to work on, and I'm gonna rely on this committee for a lot of things because I cannot do it on my own, and I need your expertise and your love for the animals.
So we've got a very good group.
Yes.
We'll get there. Okay, the next item, shelter neuter and return.
Okay, that one I know I already addressed
Yes.
it, and
Yes, you-
and yeah, we're very excited to announce that initiative too.
Yes,
And all
very good.
our officers, once the animal is sterilized, they go and take them that same day.
Do you think that might be something that you might want to post, like the SNR? Not the whole report. It leaves you open for criticism.
Okay.
Some people
Oh yeah, some
focus
people
on the
don't.
negative
Some
instead of
people don't like the
what
SNR.
we've done. But
There's a lot of people that don't like a lot of things, and we have to do what's working and what might be, and it's trial and error. We're trying to do our best. There's just too many animals out there,
Yeah.
and people continue to breed them and continue to sell them on the street, and
But the
so.
thing is that it's not being, the law is not being enforced.
Well, that's why we're
Let me
here
tell
to
you
also
something.
do city ordinances and advise council of what we need to do.
Just so
not being
since I got appointed and Maribel is here to attest to it, I have created a policy or SOP or a directive. It was a memorandum that I forwarded to all animal control officers, asking them to enforce section 617, which is the dog and cat litter permits. So if they attend to a call, regardless, if they have a litter, they're gonna be cited. And I know Judge Dominguez has been very supportive of that, so they have been, they're being cited for that. So we are enforcing them. The fact that the permit is $15, and that's
That's
something that we
something we
need
need
to change.
to address and
And
increase the
sanctions.
permits.
We can also increase the, I don't know, we have the ability to, yeah, we can amend the sanctions so that it's part of the ordinance too. So they can go hand in hand.
Yes.
Good idea.
And I don't wanna keep everyone, okay.
Okay. The next item is the Animal Cruelty Task Force.
Okay, Councilmember Torres had created the Animal Task Force, if I'm not mistaken, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, and as per the memorandum of understanding with the Webb County, we were supposed to meet, but for whatever happened, but we already met, and I know some of you were present. So we're trying to push this incentive and this collaboration forward. They have been helping us a lot with the animal cruelty cases, and just so you all know, since I got appointed, 6 individuals have been arrested for animal cruelty. I know it's not enough, but we're
making
trying,
progress.
and we are changing the culture more than anything, which is the hardest thing to change. It's changing the culture of that department and also educate the public. There are consequences, and we're now, it's not only animal control who's enforcing this, but we're working with all these different law enforcement agencies to enforce them.
So
On
how many
that-
cases have been
Processed. We have received approximately 600 alleged animal cruelty cases up to this year.
Do we know how many have already reached?
Right now, they're attending to all of the calls for animal cruelty. But I don't know, out of those, we have issued dozens of citations. Some of them do not merit an arrest. So we are working on them. Some of them are not, it's just on the way the statute and the ordinance is written, it's not very detailed. So pretty much animal cruelty is, if an animal doesn't have adequate access to food, water, and shelter, it's animal cruelty. But then it's up to the discretion of the officer what's adequate or proper.
One thing that was very helpful, Penny, for 2 years straight, every single weekend, I would drive around looking for cruelty cases. But I had access to an ACO and a police investigator. I called, within 20 minutes, they show up.
Wow.
But the police investigator made a huge difference, remember?
Yes, because they have a lot more authority than we do.
Then he got so
Yes.
overwhelmed. And so for 2 years, it worked really nicely, and then he just, I think the position got removed.
I guess it's
But
just
that helps.
all the needs, but,
Yes.
I mean, I do applaud you all working together. I mean, we saw this last one with the media on TV. And I think again, and I don't know how it happened, because I know people call in, but I think that's very important because people are now,
Yes.
especially the neighbors, when they're the ones that kind of see what's going on out there. And it looked really sad, I mean,
But you're talking about the Black Dog?
the black
Dog
dogs,
Friends?
yes.
Okay, my organization was somehow involved, and sad to say, it took a lot of work on the side of the person that made the initial report. Nobody wants to get involved.
But there was no fence. I was told there was no fence. So why do we worry about who's making the call?
And just for
If we're
clarification
aware of it, why don't we
purposes,
just make the call?
that was on Laredo, it was an LPD case, not an animal control.
Well,
But we did end up collaborating. We did we ended up doing the seizure warrant on behalf of the department, and we got we actually have our court hearing pending for the custody. of
I
the-
know that there used to be a lot of with Martin Cuellar, the sheriff had billboards where it was you see something, say something and all that. Is that still going around? Are they still doing that?
I don't know if they are doing that, but we are going to have some money left for advertisement. Not for advertisement, but for the outreach, so we can definitely put something out.
On the subcommittees, Karina, we had also discussed, we can come up with flyers and things like that. I mean, I'm always out on the street, and when we sell homes, we do walkthroughs, we see a lot of things, and I normally have flyers with me, and I'll leave them on the houses. We've gone to the extent of knocking and trying to talk to people, but sometimes they throw you out of the house and they tell you they're gonna call the cops and and it's a little intimidating because you really want to help that animal that's tied up and it's in the middle of the sun and things like that. But I feel that we need to educate the community of what it is. So we've had flyers, those are all things that we can get donated. We can come up with them, we can create them, we can have them with us. Somebody used to be in the committee that knew somebody from the media. I feel that when things happen, the media, honestly, like that dog that had like 6 pounds of fur on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
I think if we had access to somebody in the media where we could, it's already there. They're already putting it out there. Say something about this is an animal cruelty case. If you see something, say something like just 2 seconds of whatever they would say. I think would help. Everybody watches the news. So I think that is another subcommittee that we need. We need to get the media involved to help us if we don't have the funds to be doing these type of things. But when these things happen, if they could just put something on the bottom, or, it is city ordinance this, or it is considered animal cruelty. I think that's something that'll go to the people. Not a lot of people know that they can't do certain things that they're doing. So
No, you're
we can
absolutely
add a
right.
And I
subcommittee
think
to
the
that.
education that she mentions is so key, because I think you might have been involved, I'm not sure. But like a specific case, and there's many, but let's talk about this one. So a community person, they already know that you're out there, right? And so everybody starts looking for you. Am I right, Cindy?
Yeah.
Your name is out there and that phone starts to ring and they find you through social media. And that's okay. So this one dog was very mistreated, and we worked it, was bleeding from the mouth, gets taken, well, that's advanced tick fever. That's like a no-brainer. That dog got vaccinated. And so what happens to that dog? You die. If you're real sick, you get vaccinated, you get real sick and die. And so, that piece of the rescuers, you need to know that. So that when we go out there and say, and then everyone was saying, well, the dog just didn't have the will. No, the dog got vaccinated.
And that
And-
caused the death.
Period, end of story. So we have to be educated enough as well. That's why it's good that this is a good group and all these experiences are shared.
Yeah,
Experiences are
we
shared.
already know that before you vaccinate a rescued animal, he has to be snapped first. Because if he has any of those conditions identified by the snap test.
But I
it's,
think maybe what
it's
happened
other
was
conditions.
that some veterinarians don't allow you in there. You have to stay outside.
Yeah.
And, I mean, this should be like understood.
Yeah.
I didn't know, thank you.
Huh?
I didn't know about the vaccinated.
Yeah, that before you vaccinate a street animal, or even one you adopt, it's always, if it's an adult, it's important to first do the SNAP testing, which is blood work, to identify 4 very lethal, important diseases, and then if they come out okay, they can get vaccinated. Otherwise, if they come positive for any of those 4 diseases, the vaccines don't work and can kill them. We're always telling people,
And I think that, for example, that flyer that you talk about could be, that piece of information can be included. It's educating the public, hey, you take one, don't let them vaccinate.
And it's something that like we can give out. And it doesn't go directly to one home where they get very defensive, but it's that block and to every home, and thank you, have a good, It's
We
volunteer
actually
work.
created a flyer for one of the events as per Councilmember Perez's request, in which we had bullets of very, if we were talking to children.
Yeah, basic information.
How long the chain has to be, access to food and water, and Maribel created.
On the subcommittees,
And we
if we could have somebody that, I have people in UISD that I've been reaching out to. Sometimes they have Career Day, they have Dog Day, National Dog Day. They will allow us to go and talk to the children. A lot of the times the parents are already old school, they want to tie up that dog. But if their child is coming home and saying, we shouldn't be tying him up because of this, this, and this, they will listen.
Yeah.
So that is something that I can definitely volunteer as well.
Like the educational piece.
Education, honestly, I am
She
big
used to
on
have
it.
that stuffed dog, or that dog, that
The
puppet,
costume.
The costume, and they, but, something like that, the kids were going home and telling their parents.
Very important, educating your parents.
So I'll send you the list: Public Awareness Committee, Policy and Ordinance Review Committee, Finance Committee, TNR Committee, Events Committee, and then
Multimedia.
Multimedia.
The cruelty,
for the-
going back to that task force, I mean, that's just like over here, but over here is where we need to.
They have assisted
Address.
us in regular animal control calls as well. Or now, because people know that we have this partnership, we had, like, for example, constable's office that receive an animal cruelty call themselves, and they responded to it, and then they call animal control for assistance. So it literally brought a lot of awareness to the public.
Can you maybe think about including a column there about cruelty cases? You know
Yes.
how you have the SNR?
Yes.
And see if it starts to go up or down? You know?
Our animal cruelty cases have increased dramatically, and now just so you all know, animal control doesn't get calls from 311 only. We get LPD dispatch. We get now we have an LPD app that they send us referrals automatically. We get them through Crime Stoppers. We get calls from people just contacting our department. So now we have different venues that we receive calls from.
Good. Yeah, because the ACO is the one that ultimately issues
Yes.
the fine.
Yes, yes. And we're trying to deter from issuing citations for animal cruelty, but if it doesn't meet, and just so we can seek a severe punishment. But like I said, out of those 600 calls, usually like 70% do not meet the criteria, or it's not necessarily animal cruelty. So not that many, but on an average, most calls don't meet the
I would be interested in knowing the criteria.
I'll send it
Because
to you
Texas
all.
law says you cannot tether more than a certain amount of hours, and over here they say it's okay 24/7.
No, we have
And
removed
that's not
animals
right.
for that.
Okay.
And I mean, Judge Dominguez has signed more seizure warrants that he probably has in the past years, right? For animal cruelty.
But then you find out that they don't have fences, and so they have to have
Yeah.
them because
He
they're
just
so
awarded
poor.
us the custody of 5 dogs in an animal cruelty case. Como we are all working.
We have a
They
different
changed the,
administration and
they
different
fix
people.
it for a week or two, and then later they're back to being tied outside. That's what's
Yeah.
happening.
That's why
Well,
they're seizing the animals.
Yeah.
So in those cases, the animals are seized, and we look for a better home for
And
them.
honestly, management has been very supportive. Like, a lot of people don't know this, but during the winter storm, even my superior, which is Christina
We're
Howe,
taking
she was on
calls.
call, taking calls from the animal control officers. Como I gave them their, because a lot of those were like legal questions, and she offered. But our prosecutors are very helpful as well. So now our animal control officers have a lot more resources. And
We already also know who are the ones on social media, right?
Right.
We know, like, somebody posted, oh, looking for a dog, a puppy that's gonna grow big and strong. It's like, okay, you want a cheap alarm or you want a bait dog? You know, it's like,
Those are
no.
the things that we need to address.
Okay, I know we need to
Yeah,
wrap
there's
up.
some-
The last one is the shelter statistics.
Okay, so I wanted to, on a positive note, since January, since I got appointed, we have been able to maintain with the efforts of Maribel, who is our program coordinator. She oversees the rescue and the rescue and adoptions aspect. And because of all the efforts of our rescue organizations, we have been able to keep a live release rate of over 80%. At this, we have an average of 85% live release rate for dogs. For cats, it's very low. We're averaging 43%. So
When you mean live release, it's like,
that means that out of 100 dogs, 85 get rehomed.
good.
But for cats, out of 143, we were at 49. But
It's gonna change with the TNR and all that we're doing.
yes,
But I think the city ordinances do need to be a little more specific, and the permits need to go up, and we need to start doing that in order to help us with what we're gonna do over here.
yes, I'm gonna share with you a report that I created for management, and it's pretty much como suggesting. I didn't create it for management. I created it for myself of the things that I wanted to cover, and it already addresses like the ordinances that need immediate attention, in my opinion. But obviously, I will provide you all with chapter 6 of the Code of Ordinances, and then we can review them and see which ones we need to address.
I'd love if we could get those statistics.
Yes. Okay, so we have received approximately an average of 202 dogs per month, which is very low compared
I
to.
think he means a copy.
That's what I meant.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. All right, so, well, year to date, we have over 4,000 animals that have come into our shelter in the past 3, 4, 6 months. So the statistics keep going up every month, and our euthanasia rates are going down.
Good. Very
Yes.
good.
Yes, and our adoption numbers are not very high. It's something that we need to
Because
work
we
with.
haven't been able to do like the adoption things that we
Well,
want,
now,
right?
even in an attempt to promote adoptions, we have, and I know some of you all don't agree. I know a lot is gonna demand me, but we have free adoptions every day. Before it was on Tuesdays, but it was an attempt to clear the shelter.
I think that also with that person that you're getting that's gonna be on social media and
Yes.
stuff, that would really help. I'm thinking that's really, really gonna help you.
There's a lot of, our department has a lot of potential.
So
but it
the
needs a lot of
transports can't
attention.
be counted as adoptions if they tell you they got adopted already, if someone follows up? Like I followed up, remember the 12 that were
I see.
abandoned
Oh,
down in
yes.
Southeast? You know, they got adopted, so
Yes.
that could count. They got
Yes.
transported, but I followed,
I think they need to come into our shelter so we can account for them.
they did.
Which ones are you
What
talking?
you're saying is like the animals, once they're rescued and they've left the shelter, and once they go into another
Rescue
organization.
organization.
Right, they go into another organization, that they would be counted as, also as adoptions
Oh,
since.
yes.
Because when
they
I
don't get
rescued it,
adopted.
when I rescued, and it's a lot of work, but it's so worth it. Those puppies, remember that house on Santa Cleotilde,
Sí.
and there was a little puppy?
Oh, yes,
Okay, there was 5 of those puppies?
Yes,
Okay, so then those dogs, I tracked them and they got adopted.
yes.
So that should count here.
I know, we need to have record.
Because in the rescues, once they go to rescue organizations, the plan is that they are gonna be fostered
Right.
temporarily and
And eventually
adopted.
In fact, one of
Yes.
them was so shy and timid, they first trained and did therapy, and then he was more adoptable, got adopted. So if we know that, we can give you the
Right.
feedback.
Okay. Any questions on that?
But they have the records of those
We have
animals that are
records.
living on transport.
And their numbers are counted as rescued animals only.
Rescue, they're
That's
under
rescue.
rescue
Right.
versus
Right.
adopt.
Still, they're live release.
They're
Yeah,
like,
they're
they're
like-
rescued.
okay.
Yes, correct. They're
We
live release.
heavily depend on our rescue partner. That's why we appreciate their partnership, because without them,
Yes,
we
and then
would
we
be in, you
and
know.
it's grown. We're constantly getting new partners. Just this week, we got 3 new partners. We already pretty much all over the country, to say the least, because they go to New York, Chicago. We're going even to Canada. So it is, we've got partnerships,
That's wonderful.
opportunities
That's
all
great.
over the United States.
That's amazing.
With the
Yes.
flight.
Yes, with the flights and even land, without the flight, yes. Because we have flights also. We're transporting via flight twice a month right now. Right now, the weather's good. It should probably hold us up until October.
And that on social media, once, you know, we take those pictures and da-da-da, I think that would be amazing.
And
You'll
actually,
find it on Angie Ancita. Do you
Pause
post
on
it?
board, we have our page.
Pause on board. It's on social media.
No, but I'm talking
But
about the
with-
shelter.
The
maybe-
shelter page.
Because they're not allowed to go in there, but maybe
Sí,
your
pero
person
we'll-
can copy, right?
Yeah, and we go
But
to the
they
Facebook
do
page.
post it.
Or tag,
Yeah.
like maybe a
Yes.
tag,
And the
just a
Facebook
tag.
page for LATS, there's some postings there.
Cool.
of the
But
flights,
yeah, they
yes.
do post the flight.
No, but I'm
pictures.
saying now that they're gonna have this full-time
Yes,
person.
that person
Oh,
can
yeah.
help.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that person can follow us as we're
Yes.
doing all, you know, the legwork.
Because you guys are doing a lot that people are not, they don't know.
I need to brag about this, that unit only has 2 people. So that means that.
2
we
amazing
get
people.
Yes, 2 amazing people, which is Maribel and Jessica, and also our vet techs. We only have 3 at this time.
Yes, we work hand in hand to wrap up in an average of 40 and sometimes up to 85 animals that will go on a flight at one time.
And so it is currently on your Facebook page?
Yes, yes,
Right.
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah. And the collaboration of the rescue groups and volunteers
Yeah.
that go to prepare the crates and
Yes.
the labels for each crate, and pick up the crates and load them onto the plane también,
Right,
and being there.
right. I've seen
It's a
all
lot of
those
work.
Yes.
It's a lot of
Pictures.
work.
And then the two that were left behind, they didn't fit in the airplane.
Yes.
And she took them.
Yeah.
And just took the
That's
trip.
great.
Yes.
Or got foster.
Yeah.
Yes, once an animal is tagged, and it doesn't make, very few times that we had an animal, the crate that's not fit, we have 2 or 3, trust me, the fosters or the rescue organization is not gonna drop the tag. They are gonna make transportation arrangements really quick.
One way or another.
Okay, and even if it takes having to board them here locally and wait for the next flight, it'll
Okay.
happen. Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we've had flights that come in and pick them up individually, 2 or 3, they'll come in from San Marcos, and we take them to the airport and load them up. So, trust me, they will not be left behind by all means.
They'll send a special transport
Yes.
just to pick them up.
Just to pick them up.
And just a special note that yourself and Angie Ancira are the ones that help pit bulls. They rescue the pit bulls.
Yeah, Angie does it's got a term, she finds the groups, the organizations that are willing to take it.
The only
Sad to
one.
say, they are so hard to place.
Yeah.
Yeah, we found Queens PDs who are we currently working with from New York, and it's actually taking some of the PDs that we have right now at the shelter that they're leaving on Friday. So we are really looking forward to working with that particular rescue organization in New York that specifically
That's
wants
Pitbull.
PDs.
Yeah.
Yes.
And sometimes we have to make deals with the rescues, okay, you're gonna take so many little ones, or so many pretty ones, okay, but you gotta take one of my choice. So we know what it is.
Yeah, and just so you all know, we already transferred to Pet Point. So that's going to also help our libraries rate. It's a new database. We're still trying to transfer data from our old system, but that's a big accomplishment for the Laredo Animal Care Services Department. And this was something that was done by Beto, but we were able to finally materialize it, and we are already, I told staff, you have no choice. You're gonna learn while working on it. Porque we keep waiting, that's never gonna
Forget
happen.
it, won't happen.
Sí, pero we have very great staff.
Karina, I really
Wonderful.
hope that you're gonna stick with it.
Don't
in the
leave us,
shelter.
Karina. Stick with it,
Don't
stick
feel
with it.
pressured, but you're wonderful.
Yes, we love you.
Yes,
I
We love you,
absolutely.
we love you.
You're here.
Thank you, I really appreciate it.
And you
it
have our
means a lot.
support.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, tell us what we need to do, give us the subcommittees, we'll start signing up,
If you
Maribel,
don't
and
have
see what we need
enemies,
to do.
you probably
Thank
haven't
you.
accomplished much.
Very good for him, Doc.
Yeah.
You don't have any.
No, thank you all for your support. It means a lot to me, and it was a very difficult time, not only for me, but for my staff. We got threats. LPD had to be in our building every day from 8 to 5. But honestly, at the end of the day, I mean, other administrations have gone through this, and we saw it with Beto, we saw it with the other director, and I mean, we just need to make the best out of the situation. And in this case, it was very unfortunate that we are already working on these different projects, but nonetheless, they're still gonna materialize at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But everything got out of context, pero ni modo.
Everything happens for a reason, and there's a lot of good things that came out of that,
Mm-hmm.
not just bad, so let's keep moving forward.
Yeah.
We'll move forward with you.
Thank you, and thank you so much, because I know I'm gonna be demanding a lot of you guys' time.
Remember that you also have the support of all the rescue groups.
I know.
We have a lot of
yes.
awesome people out there, Maisa Aureli,
I know you all
Angie
defended me.
Gonzalez, Angie
Thank
Alcira, Nancy
Thank you.
Nicole, myself, and,
A lot of people.
we were out there literally cleaning the kennels, doing what had to be done to pull through, to get those animals to where they needed to be.
And that's another
We-
thing that a lot of people don't know. We decided to go on an essential intake basis only because in an attempt to avoid mass euthanasia. But unfortunately, the Facebook post happened on Monday night, and then the press conference that we had scheduled to address this initiative was already on Tuesday night. So we couldn't cancel it. And obviously, people didn't care about no initiative or progressive incentive. They wanted to know about that post, but yeah, it's already, ya pasó. Ya
Yes.
pasó.
Ya
Let's
pasó.
move forward, and I
It's
wanna,
behind.
Charlie continues, rescue continues.
Yeah,
and-
there's more positive Facebook stuff, like we turned Pet Lovers Paradise around.
Yes.
They're pro shelter.
Yeah.
Now, this new one, the one that's calling, we know who it is, so we just follow them and see.
And like they always say, kill them with kindness and kill them with positive posts.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm telling you, always try to have several posts, live videos, something positive that's going on in the shelter. People want to know, people want to see, and people share.
And
So
people get involved and donate. and-
exactly, but people have to see. And if whoever's in charge of that page keeps posting, this is what's starting, and this is our goal, and we're working on it, and keep us, what's the word, on updated on what's going on. And, you're gonna have more support than you can imagine.
She
Because
has
people are
a
listening.
lot of support,
Mhm.
the most that I've ever seen, honestly. And you have the administrative support.
Yeah,
And council is being very supportive too. I mean, they advocate for the animals, they really do.
Yes, they
So,
do.
but now, we need to take the initiative to present to them, this
Yes,
is what
this is
we're
what we need to do.
suggesting. So we need to take advantage of that too, that we all have the authority and the power to do it, and council is extremely receptive. TNR came back because of council members.
Good.
Si no, ahí se queda otra vez. And we need, it is our responsibility and we need to do it.
Let's take advantage of the opportunities that have
I
been
know
given to
that
us.
we don't have anything that says other business, right?
No, because I think that's also very vague when you post an agenda, but I guess if there are some items that you're concerned with, just email me, Karina, and we'll get them on the next agenda.
Okay.
Okay? And I want to thank you all. I know I know you always kind of watch the time too.
We need to get
I
one
feel good
hour.
about that.
We went ahead, we took a little longer, but I think it was important. We hadn't met
It
in
was
a
our first
while.
meeting back, so yes.
And then with everything else going on, so it was very good, very informative, and very fortunate to be part of a group that's dynamic and very eager to make a difference. And so let's continue the work out there and always, going forward and bringing in more and more. And so, and Karina, you've got all the support. And
Thank
so,
you.
and the good thing is that, again, management council is very important because, you're, especially now you're gonna go with budget next week, so let us know.
Yes,
But
I'll
we
let you
appreciate
know.
all you do,
yes.
the staff. So thank you all. Meeting stands adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For educating